middle class manufacturing is the linchpin of America. The middle class is the one that carries the burden of all the stuff. The purpose of business is not to make money.
Right.
Wait. The purpose of business is not to make. Okay. What is it? Well, it's to contribute to society, build community, be philanthropic. Okay.
Yep.
That's the purpose of a business. You're going to solve problems. You're going to have a product service solution, audience eyeballs awareness, timing and price, and you're going to solve that problem for an economical price. And if they have it, they're going to buy it.
Hello and welcome to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Mayer. I've got to ask you, what happens when a lifelong industrial veteran decides the future of American manufacturing depends on sustainability, people, and smart technology? Mark Vanderwarf is building the bridge between old school know-how and next generation innovation. Mark is a business growth strategist turned sustainability evangelist who has spent nearly 30 years inside the industrial construction and manufacturing trenches. After watching great companies struggle, not because they lack skill, but because they lack systems, cultural alignment, and future-proof thinking, he founded Sustainable Manufacturing Exchange to push the industry towards smarter, cleaner, and more resilient operations. Mark sees manufacturing not as an industry of machines, but as an ecosystem of people whose success depends on the right tools, the right technology, and the right mission. His path started with boots on the ground work in industrial construction, where he saw firsthand how innovation could transform a job site and a company, but only if people believed in it. What pulls you into his story is the emotional hook. Mark is self-described as a people investor who treats human trust as the most valuable capital inside any operation. Today, he's driving change through sustainability leadership and through Shabam, an AI-powered brand experience platform that helps manufacturers communicate better, engage deeper, and grow faster in a digital world. His work blends operational grit with visionary strategy to help manufacturers thrive in a future where sustainability and storytelling matter just as much as production. Mark Vanderwarf, welcome to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. How you doing today, my friend?
Dude, what an intro. How's it going? My digital twin, Jim, over here.
Digital twin.
I'm doing good.
My man, how are you?
Very good, very good. What a great intro. And thanks so much for being on here to help champion people, processes, and technology, as we say, right?
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what this industry is all about. And for those of you who don't know the story, it was MD and West back when it was Informa IME West a couple of years ago, where Mark and I first met, and we created so much confusion at that event because people would come up to me and say, "Hey, Mark, good to see you." And they'd go up to Mark and say, "Hey, Jim, how's the podcast going?" Yeah. We created chaos. And I think it was Chris Lukey who said, "This is uncanny," and took a photo of the two of us. And I don't think he's stopped talking about it since. And so we have coined that we are digital twins. And now we go to these events together. And we've got Sammy Birch and Emily Wilkins who say they're digital. So we're just growing in digital twins here.
Yeah. I mean, what fun was that? I mean, we were trying on the Apple Vision Pro at the time and yeah, it was pretty wild. People were just, I don't know who was more confused, us or them, because I hadn't met you yet.
Exactly. And I just recently trimmed my beard, so it's not as long as Mark's is right now. His looks a lot more clean and shaped. Mine looks like I got into a fight with a weed eater.
No room for beard envy here, man.
No beard envy, man. None.
No.
So Mark,
well, I gotta say you are a handsome guy. I mean, we can't be going on without that.
I mean,
takes one to know one, right?
Exactly. I was just going to say, it takes a handsome dude to know a handsome dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it's going to be funny when I launch the clips from this and people are like, wait, who's actually talking right now? Yeah.
Which one is it?
Yeah, it'll be fun. My editor will have a field day trying to figure out who's who.
Yeah, I mean, even the voices sometimes are a little similar,
Absolutely. All right, man.
Yeah.
My icebreaker question. My first one, and I have not prepped you, and unless you've been listening to the show, you have no idea that this is coming. So this is going to be a blast.
Okay.
If your life were a movie, Mark, what genre would it be? Who would play you? And what's the opening scene?
Man, I don't know. I kind of want to say that's easy. It's already been written. I mean, it's kind of the Matrix.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's the Matrix.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the Neo and the whole thing. I mean, I can kind of also pivot roles, so it's a lot of fun.
I like it. I like it. So are you Keanu? Is that
What's
who
that?
plays you? Is Keanu who plays you?
Yeah, yeah,
Right
absolutely.
on.
You know,
That's awesome. I dig that. And the opening scene is the same where he's at his workstation and
yeah,
the world's passing him by
yep.
and he's unaware. All right, dude.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
dig
he's
that.
frustrated. He's beating his head against the wall. He knows there's something more. He just can't quite grasp it. You know, he's doing the coding thing. He's reaching out. He's all by himself, right? He's kind of in his own little ecosystem, and but he just knows that there's others out there. There's more. There's something bigger than himself, right? And I mean, literally, that was me. I was kind of raised by wolves in a little bitty town of like 35 people in Northeast Wisconsin. My backyard was the national forest, pretty much. And I mean, I knew there was more out there. I mean, I would get these magazines, and my dad had a machine shop and stuff, and so I basically just built whatever I saw in these magazines. I mean, like, I built my own skateboard, I built my own snowboard. I mean, I had a long track snowmobile, and I put a boat pole, a water ski pole on the back of the long track, and we used the skid loader to like create our own like ramps and tracks and stuff. Like, and I mean, this was like early 90s, right? I mean, and man, I mean, I turned down some old rollerblade wheels down to like the mini wheels for skateboards, like turned them down on a machine and on a lathe, and like, yeah, I mean, it was crazy, man. And nobody told me that I couldn't. My dad always said, look, nobody else is any better than you, but you're not any better than anybody else.
Dig
And
it. I
I
love
was
it, man.
like, whoa, all right, that's heavy. And he's like, Mark, if you want to be successful in life, pay attention and do the work. It's like, okay.
Simple but so true.
Yeah.
Um, all right, Mark. I love that. I
So
love
that's the movie.
you're the first guest that has just said a movie and said it's already done. Like I don't need to recreate anything.
Yeah.
It's there. I dig that.
Yeah.
All right. So, question number 2 is a little bit deeper, but still just as fun for people, I hope. It's the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. We have to talk about culture, right? So,
Absolutely.
what is your definition of culture? Not necessarily like the dictionary definition that, if you study culture, you know that dictionary definition, but what is it to you?
Right. Specifically in a manufacturing business context, I mean, I believe it's purpose and drive and identity and real the why, but also kind of mixed with the how of the DNA of the company, the founders, or the new. Sometimes you don't even know what it is. You've been floundering around, but you talk to someone like yourself or others, and you really get pinpoint on what that kind of DNA is, like who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? And really
Yep.
bring in that alignment. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say that's culture. It's like, what's the flag that you fly, right?
Oh, I like that. What's the flag you fly? So, Mark, let's talk more about Mark Vanderwarf specifically for a little bit here. You've spent decades at this point in this industry, and I think almost 3, if I know correctly. Not to age you at all, but nearly
Yeah.
3 decades.
All right here.
Yeah, right. Between construction and manufacturing, right? So, was there an early experience that shaped the way that you think about growth and sustainability today?
Absolutely. One key point that comes to mind as you're asking me that is I was left in charge of my dad's boat propeller repair shop. We would repair lower units, skegs, propellers, minor boat things. And he left me in charge of the company at 15 years old.
Wow.
And he had to leave the country and go to Germany for a company and do, I think it was like 4 to 6 weeks or something, a project. They were rebuilding an entire wet end of a paper machine.
Wow.
And he left me in charge. He gave me the keys to the kingdom and the shop and ran me through everything. And, like, make sure you turn the oxyacetylene off when you leave and, all that stuff. Right. And told my mom, take him wherever he needs to go. Like, he'll tell you, he knows what's up. My mom was like, okay. And she would just drive me around, and I would run the routes. I would do the pickups and the drop-offs and all that. But I learned really early on that I could easily get burned out. There's so many hours in a day, and what did I need to do? So I learned really quick I needed to choreograph the routes, and I had to foster these relationships. Thankfully, my dad, I had been tagging along with him for a couple years going to visit these owners, and but here I am at 15 years old, like talking to these owners of some pretty good franchises and boat companies and all this, and I'm wheeling and dealing and doing the thing, and I kind of got the taste of the entrepreneurism but still like the seller doer model kind of thing, right? So that was really early on, and I found out like I had to really even though I was a young punk kid, like in order to like make it an enjoyable day and make it I'd have to be up until late. I still had to go to school and different things, or I still had to do all the other stuff I was committed to, right? Like let your yeses be yeses and your no's be no. And so I had agreed to this and I did it. And so anyways, that was a very early on. I was 15 years old and I was like, okay, I have to have, at that time I didn't call it a sustainable business model, but I was like, I need to be more efficient or something, right? More practical. So yeah, I mean, that was, and it was simple things, right? Prep the shop for the next day. Like I didn't just finish the thing and leave. I would prep and clean up and have a good environment for the next day and have all the packages ready. The orders were ready. And, it was that kind of stuff. And so planning and preparation and a little bit of systematizing. And, I even took notes and had my own kind of SOPs. And my dad actually, basically left me an instruction thing of, kind of a flow chart of if this, then do this, I mean, it wasn't like you were going to call Germany, I mean, he's sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping. And back then, phone calls to Germany were so expensive, man.
Yeah,
because that was the old like wall mounted phones, and long distance was not cheap back then.
No. Yeah, you even had like the community line. It was like
phone,
the neighbors could be on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, hey, hey, can I use the phone? And then how fast we went from that to
and I mean, the speed of technology that we have seen as late Gen Xers, early millennials is just astronomical, right? I remember the first computer we had in the house, and it was
nice.
It was a brick. It did nothing. It had like 15 megs of memory. It was it, right? Everything was on a disk. It's a brick. But now we carry stinking supercomputers in our pockets. Those things used to take up rooms, and now they're tiny. And we've seen that happen in our lifetime.
Oh yeah. Now we got on-device LLM.
Yeah.
Basically language calculators, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, well, it's up to you to have the story problem still.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, my first computer was like a Tandy 1000, like a real computer that had the 5.25 inch floppy disk. But before that, I had a Commodore 64 with a tape drive, and I had a order software from a company somewhere, probably out here in California, and they'd send you a manila envelope with dot matrix paper, and you would literally just hand type everything onto this tape drive and then load it into RAM.
That's awesome.
My uncle sent that to me, and I was like, I have the best uncle in the world.
Yeah, we got the Apple IIe. That was our first computer. Yeah.
Nice.
I remember we were living up in northwestern Colorado, and I remember my dad showing up in his massive Jeep Grand Wagoneer with this big box in the back, and we're like, what is this? It was so awesome.
The magic brick.
It was magic brick. If we were to ever resell or refurbish old computers, I think we'd have to call it magic bricks. I like the sound of it. Write that one down. So what was the tipping point for you, or what was that moment for you where you realized that the industry or the industrial world needed this new exchange, specifically a place that focused on sustainability and future proofing and those kinds of things?
Oh, man, I mean, I think I started getting glimpses of it during my apprenticeship. I went through some of my college years at University of Wisconsin down in Marinette. And then I got into Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. That was part of the curriculum for my apprenticeship program for a trade craft called the millwrights. which is a subset of the local carpenters union. And, right in that apprenticeship, it was like during that time, there was more jobs than you could get. I mean, you could literally be on the same job site, quit one company and walk over to another job trailer, knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm available. And be like, all right, get out there and go to work. I mean, it was that plentiful. And I mean,
Wow.
you're 18 and a half, 19 years old, whatever. And I mean, you're bringing down six figures. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, mid 90s, it was nuts. We were burning up things, right? We were just going through things. It was a lot of like waste, and I was like, well, why don't we do this? And why? Because I was kind of raised like frontiers mentality, like we didn't waste anything. Because I mean, it was a 2-hour drive to go get something else. I mean, you used it all. Right. And I mean, hunting and fishing and everything. I mean, you learned how to make stew out of the leftovers and I mean, you just kind of, that was that mentality. Right. So my neighbors didn't have running water and they didn't have electricity and they only lived, like half mile away or whatever. And I just had this ingrained in me from a very young age, just like you don't waste it, you use it and you build stuff to last and you do this. And I'm on these job sites and I mean, we're literally just like lighting stuff on fire. It's like, well, we don't want to go dump it, so we'll burn it. I was like, really? Like, that's giving me a headache. Is that something we should do? So it was like that kind of stuff early on, and then the technology piece too. It was just like, okay, well, I've got this computer and we've got these lasers to do stuff. I mean, why are we wasting all of this human capital and these man hours? And well, it's billable time. So it was like, be busy doing something, even if it's wrong, just be doing something just because the customer's paying bodies to move around. It wasn't about efficiency or anything. So, I mean, you want to take a young kid with ADHD and light him on fire, like that's like, you just make him just do stupid things. Like, I'm like, all right, now how do I scheme and plan, So yeah, anyways, like that was very early on. I just saw the waste of human talent, the time wasted, disregard for team building, and because it was just burn and churn,
Yep. So let's dig a little deeper into that because I think that the narrative hasn't changed so much in the last 30 years, right? That we need people but I don't know if a millwright can go from trailer to trailer on a job site anymore and be employed, right? I don't think it's that sparse, but the narrative hasn't seemed to change. Why do you think that is?
There's a lot of bubbles and a lot of isolated factors involved, right? I mean, on one hand, you got skilled labor that brags about not having an email address and not being on the internet. And, they literally, I mean, they're buying gold bars and silver bars and burying them under their mattress with their paychecks, And on the other hand, you have these companies that, the legacy knowledge is moving on rapidly. And the younger generation, the newer people filling those shoes, are unaware that this talent even exists out there, right? And so they're screaming like, there's no work, there's no skilled labor. We need to bring in people from elsewhere. And these other guys are like, there's no work. I mean, somebody's got to, it goes back to this is how we've always done it, right? And that mentality, you gotta something's got to give. Education, team building, there's different ways to attract it. I think we're getting into some better things now. But I mean, I'm not going to say it's too little too late, but it's pretty far behind.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say we're a good 15 years behind the times, like, I mean, we should have been doing a lot of this stuff 15, 20 years ago, getting ready. But I mean, you can't change the
100%.
past. All you can do is reframe and change the future. You can control your attitudes about your actions and reactions. And that's what you can do to move forward. Everything else is outside of your control. So reframe your attitude, tackle with the proper actions and reactions to things coming in, and move forward. And that's what I'm trying to do with the things that I'm tackling and building. I could blame these people and those people and all this other stuff, and I could cry in my milk all day long. I mean, we just got to do something, and hopefully it's right instead of just being busy for busy's sake. Because I mean, nobody's going to cut you a check for just treading water anymore.
Right. Well, but I also like from my standpoint, I'm part of a apprenticeship program here in Arizona. Right. And it's existed for at this point 14 or 15 years. I have been part of it, very, very heavily invested for the last 3 years. We've changed our model. We went from a time-based apprenticeship to a competency-based apprenticeship, right?
Nice.
We've reframed the mechanical aptitude assessment and made sure that it's more accessible to people inside and outside, people who grew up in the industry, to also people who are strangers, right? If you have a
That's great.
mechanical aptitude, we want to talk to you about being a machinist, right?
So you guys are mapping those terminologies and all that stuff. That's great.
Absolutely. But the problem is we now have 35 people in our system that we can't place because employers don't want somebody without experience. So how do I get experience for those 34, 35 young souls that are
Yeah.
looking for their next gig? If we truly had this skilled labor shortage, this skills
Mhm.
gap, all these things that we have used as a narrative for the last 20, 25, 30 years, we should be gobbling these people up and
Yeah.
but we're not. We're letting them flounder, and then they go off to the pipe fitters union. They go off to the electrical union. They go off to these other places where they can go through an apprenticeship and get hired, and they're on a pathway to the middle class faster than they would if they were in manufacturing.
What kind of trade apprenticeship is it?
It's machinists,
Machinist.
specifically. Yeah. So it starts
Perfect.
at CNC operator, goes all the way up to tool and die maker. But we've got 34 young people that we can't freaking place, and it drives me bonkers, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is this thing that I've been up against my whole life is this scarcity mentality versus an abundance mindset, right? And so in a scarcity world, these manufacturers, owners, presidents, whatever, whoever's the stakeholders calling the shots, like, it's kind of like they see the writing on the wall. It's too little too late in some regard. And so, what's the plan for the day? Oh, we're going to go get money. We're going to go shake the money tree. So I need people out there shaking trees, so they already need to know how to do it. Right. And we know that's not how it works. But so when it comes to the skilled labor and placing them, I love the apprenticeship model because if you have skilled, seasoned people, they don't even have to be that skilled. They just need to know a little bit more than the apprentice that they're taking on. I mean, like
Exactly.
it's a great model. Like, oh, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. How does that work? I can only walk, like, cool. Great. I mean, and then once the apprentice, when the student becomes the master and the grasshopper's, zenning out the dude, then it's like, okay, well, maybe we get him a new sensei or whatever, right? Like, let's move him with another journeyman or something, or journey person. And so in an abundance mentality, well, let me give you a little story. When I was downhill skiing when I was a kid, you had your ski poles and we loved to just race down the hill, right? And we figured out that you could only tuck and squat so much and not look, not look ahead, because the minute you pick your head up, you're going to hit resistance and you're going to slow down. So, I mean, but if you're not looking where you're going, it could be pretty catastrophic, right?
Yeah.
Well, what we figured out is that when someone would get ahead of the other person, friend of yours, a buddy, right? What he would do is he would reach his ski pole back to you and you would reach your ski pole ahead, and we would interlock the ends of the ski poles, and then you would cut out and they would fling you down the hill. And then, okay, wow, he went really fast. Well, centrifugal force, right? Well, what if that guy reaches back and then flings his buddy down? Well, next thing you know, we're just whipping each other down the hill. And I mean, we're hitting like crazy speeds, and it was this teamwork, right? It was this partnership of sorts, right? And so, that's instead of insulate, isolate, brace, king of the hill, I'm going to get mine for me, it was more this collaborative openness, stewardship mentality, and we're all going to get there together, right? Now, that all sounds wonderful when we just talk about it in the ether, but how do you actually put boots to the ground with this mindset, right? Well, with frameworks and with practice, I mean, you have to get out of 30, 40, 60, 70 years of this getting beat over the head and bullied mentality. And because I'm sorry, I don't know a good way to do this. I'm blue collar, forgive me, but it's a little crass. But I mean, this grooming mentality, like you're being groomed to like think this way, right? And then you become that and you do that to the next generation. You start bullying them, you gaslight them, you give them a whole bag of turds to blow up. And it's just like, okay, whatever, dude. And young kids see that, they read that, and they're like, what do you, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you don't know why, just tell me you don't know why. Like, maybe we can figure it out together,
Yep.
And so
Absolutely.
anyways, like, back to it, I think if you take an abundance mentality and you reach back and you have these legacy people and they are willing to show and they understand it's for the good of the enterprise, it's for the good of not just your company, but the whole industry. I want to retire someday. I want to do this thing. I better show these younger generation people, or not even, maybe they might even be older than you, might have an apprentice that's older than you, but they're younger here because they don't have that skill set and tool set. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
But they have experience. So if you give someone with experience, mindset, skill set, tool set, you got some dangerous, fun stuff there. You mix that bag up. And I mean, I've seen 45, 50-year-old apprentices go through apprenticeships and be super successful and have a really good career into their mid 70s, 80s, even like turning a wrench. And I mean, believe it or not, like some guys are built like an ox,
Yeah.
So,
is this what you mean by people investor? When you use the term people investor, is this kind of framework what you mean by all of that?
Yeah. I mean, so I usually start with people. I start with a mindset. I might start with the owner or the stakeholders. I mean, I'll start with whoever's going to give me an ear. I mean, I do a lot of implementation and integration of business systems and operating systems and marketing and sales and business development systems, right? And same thing when, you're teaching someone, to balance and sky, then do all this other stuff and do critical measurements and replicate things, and they need to get repeat readings, and they're going to do alignment and get a soft shoe on the motor and whatever, right? Like, you're going to take them through it. And it's like being a musician that only reads music, but they don't have any musicality. They can't jam, right? Like, it's not about practicing it and learning it till you get it right. It's about practicing and learning it until you almost can't get it wrong.
Got it.
Right. And so when you're a true musician and you have true musicality and everything, like, you can take that and implement it. And if you mess up the chorus, you don't stop the whole band. You don't stop the audience and say, hey, we're going to start all over. You pick up the next chorus and you try to get the notes right, and that's all we need to do with a continuous improvement mindset, right? So when I'm talking about people investing, I want to start with their mindset if I can. If not, most companies, they understand the mindset, but they know the company isn't going to at large support it. So we got to give them kind of proof in the pudding, right? So we're going to change some systems. We're going to do some incremental changes, and we're going to kind of crawl, walk, run, show them that it does work. And then, oh, by the way, this is the same guy that's telling us we need to change our mindset. Right. So, I mean, I wish it wasn't that way because it's out of order, but chicken or the egg, right? But yeah, so, I mean, with mindset, it really comes down to repositioning, reframing, like how the whole monkey, elephant, lizard brain stuff interacts and, whatever. I mean, that's a whole nother tangent. Yeah. I mean, the first thing is be humble, right? When you're overconfident, it's the overconfidence that kills, right? Like, if we can approach something with a little bit of humility, I mean, especially myself included, like, I mean, people love the riz, the charisma, right? People love a solid, confident person and someone who's going to boss them around. Oh, they must know what they're doing because they can explain the problem. Well, just because you can explain the problem doesn't mean you actually know the solution. Just means you can articulate pain well. So again, I think it goes back to mindset, but like human centric, planet friendly, what's good for the people. I mean, I really usually there's a lot of issues with the team, right? There's communication issues, there's silos, there's a bunch of people that haven't had their voice heard for a really long time, but they're the people that are in your business. That's like, what does Roy do? Nobody really knows, but when Roy's gone, the whole thing falls apart. It's that guy, but Roy makes a suggestion and it goes in one ear and out the other and nobody knows why. But Roy has his ear to the rail, right? And he comes in early, he leaves late. He's a quiet guy. He's not going to bring his voice up in the meeting. He doesn't even like the sound of his own voice, all that stuff, right? But these are the people that are super, super valuable that we're losing. I mean, they'll even take their retirement early because they just want out. Right. They're going to take less money and they're like, well, I'll figure out something else. So, I always want to start with the people because they're your most valuable asset. And then, what are you doing that, maybe we don't scorch the earth. I mean, what's planet friendly that we can reduce, reuse, recycle, all the catchphrases that seem like it's just, you're just parroting some commercial, from
From the
whatever. But
90s.
yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of truth in that stuff, and I mean, you do need to look at those things. And I can come in and do a business assessment and walk companies through just kind of low hanging fruit and see what I see. But usually, I'm going to bring in experts. I mean, my whole thing for me is to showcase experts. That's why the Sustainable Manufacturing Exchange, like we're kicking off the pod or whatever, the interviews and stuff, and I want to showcase experts. And one thing, when I helped launch the Sustainable Manufacturing Expo, that's now the Sustainable Manufacturing Conference with Informa Manufacturing and stuff, but like one thing that I learned there was, like, first of all, they have to get together and compare notes and see what's out there and stuff, and then they need to kind of understand that it's not them going it alone, and that there's stuff that's already out there that they can do better. But, that was a great place to showcase all these experts, right?
Absolutely.
And I want to, when I do an assessment and do a report, I want to show you, here's the art of the possible, here's the steps of the practical, and, here's all my friends and everybody that I think can help you, right? And, this guy for this stuff, and, this lady for this other stuff, and this team for these things. And I want to connect it, and I want to be that bridge so that you can kind of shortcut things, because I'm definitely the 30,000 foot view guy.
Yeah.
So I always need to be surrounded with a tether, because I'm like, what's the question again?
That's all right. That's what I'm here for, man. Otherwise, it could just be you talking, right?
Yeah, that don't work well.
I've heard you talk before about tech stacks and terraforming business models, right? So in a term that I, as a less than intelligent middle-aged white dude, will understand, what does terraforming a business mean?
Okay. So just like you would terraform land, right? Agriculture, you're going to till the soil and pick up the roots, and you're going to prepare it for a new type of seed, or you're going to understand that you need to, everything's washing out, and so you need to change the landscape to support the environment. So you have heavy rains and things, you're going to need to like maybe build some plateaus and reshape the land, right? So similarly in your company, you're going to need to reshape the landscape, right? And so this is the way that we've always done it, is not an answer. Like, it's just, that's lazy. I'm sorry. It's just lazy. And I mean, if it was working well, there wouldn't be problems, or as many problems, or whatever. Right. Okay.
Right.
So it comes back to that humility. Let's revisit everything. Let's rethink it. Let's tear it all down. And if we build it back up and those things actually work, then great. We'll know it, because it's data driven. Well, how are you capturing your data? You're probably not. I mean,
right.
I deal with a ton. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers, but I mean, I've heard like anywhere from 45 to 70% of the backbone of manufacturing is basically these small garage shops that are machine shops and small run custom manufacturers and stuff. I mean, they're doing anywhere from 150 million less with teams of 15 to 50 people, and this is like the mainstay of the backbone of American manufacturing. You'd probably be able to tell me if that's anywhere close to
It's about 75% of the machine shops in the US have fewer than 50 employees. Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah. Wow. So that's even higher than I thought. So yeah, I mean, so what are they doing to digitize and convert and, even embrace Industry 4.0, much less moving to Industry 5.0 or any of the rest of it? We're kind of revisiting that, like, well, I mean, most of them are still on paper. They're running around with clipboards and paper things. And that's not always bad. Like, sometimes that is the most efficient, effective way to do it, because it's so variable, but instead of just laying the clipboard on top, maybe there's some way to like have a bin and secure the parts so that they don't fly all over the place when somebody trips it, and now we don't know which part went with that clipboard, right? Like, there's little things that you can do that are going to keep things corralled, right? But so, I mean, any kind of efficiencies, digitization, let's start capturing the data. I mean, if you don't capture it, you can't really improve on it. So if you don't know what you're doing or how you're doing it or any of that, it just happens. First of all, you need to know that, because if we'll go back to Roy. Like if he wins the lottery and he cuts out early, I don't know. How did that happen? I don't know. We don't know. Like now the magic's gone, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I start with that and then move into their business systems. And, I usually spend most of my time on the front end. Operations is usually really good. I compare that to like these are tons of creative people. They're kind of like the divas and the frontmen of, the pop band or the rap group or the rock band or whatever your genre is. Like they're like the front man, like they're creative, they've got the charisma, they've started this company, they're the giant golden throbbing brain, it's awesome. And they're like, the drummer can be replaced, the bass player can be replaced, it's like when you go on tour with a new bunch of people and you're hiding out in the hotel room by yourself and the band, well, they're like, well, you know what? I mean, we're not getting paid. We can actually find a new front man.
Yeah.
So now you have whole teams of people leaving companies, right? So, I mean, you want to build up the front end, the pipeline and marketing and sales and communication, and really change the culture and give them something to rally behind, have them stand for something, even be polarizing, but give them something to be proud of, give them something to wake up for and know that they're on the team. Like this is our squad, right? We're going to do this thing together. And I wake up every morning and do this because I'm not going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to be all by myself and alone. I don't want to be that. Like nobody wants that, right? So people buy from people, people work with people. It's all of it's people. So if you start there, that's great. I mean, if someone wants to work on the operation side, there's a ton of great companies that do that. And I usually send them to others for those things. I mean, I know enough about it to be dangerous, but on the business development, marketing, sales, and brand building side and all that, like that's really where I shine on that, because I understand that if that pipeline isn't filled up and you don't have like this cascading waterfall of like backup, like it's not just one pond, like you have all these streams and levers and knobs, and which one are you going to pull? Because you got to get outside of that cyclical, manufacturing is so cyclical, right? So you got to be smart so you can kind of hit those moguls so you can flatten it out.
Absolutely.
But so marketing and sales is really important at first, because I found that that's when the job shop and the guys are all twiddling their thumbs, and ladies are, don't give them any idle time. Like there's going to be problems, right? We don't need it to turn into a hair salon. That's not what we're doing here, right?
Or a barber shop.
Yeah, I love it all. I got a good mop that needs a trim. But no, I mean, like, I think there's a lot of people doing that. And I think that's something that's an easy one-to-one for these folks that more or less, like, they didn't learn how to scale, right? They didn't learn really how to delegate and how to trust. And that's where I think trust is a key factor, right? And building it in the people, the talent and the teams to have that trust so that you can have that delegation layer. Like, I mean, here's a test. If you can take a 2-week vacation and everything comes back and it's just like you were never gone,
That's
probably doing pretty good.
Yep.
If you take a 2-week vacation, I mean, I want to see how many phone calls you got. What were the emails? What were the fire alarms that happened while you were gone? I mean, that's and okay, great. Some people get sneaky and they take a vacation when they know it's the slow time. No, in the middle of your crunch season, when things are critical, I want that owner to take a vacation for 2 weeks and unplug and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
That's the big challenge.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work to get to that point. But once we do, they're like, man, this changed my whole life, right? So, I mean, that's where it starts. And then when the stakeholders and whatever your corporate structure is, if it's corporate at all, I mean, a lot of people really embrace the organic kind of hippie business style. It's like, oh, we don't have titles and we don't have this and we don't have any organization, and everyone just comes and runs to me whenever there's a problem.
Right.
Okay. Good luck taking that vacation.
How's it
buddy.
going for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It sounds good. I mean, you sound like a baller, but I mean, those are just kind of like vanity stats,
Yeah. So Mark, what role does technology, specifically AI, play in the ability to empower workers?
Yeah. I mean, there again, it's like the more you fill the front end, then we know we got work for the back end. And if there's enough floodgates of work coming in, then we can massage that, right, on the operations side. And then you want to re-engage those customers and you want to have steady flow of work, right? So yeah, I mean, technology, specifically AI, is going to help you solve those story problems, right? Like if you know what it is, or you capture the data and you really let the data give you the narrative, you don't try to put your narrative on top of it. I mean, the numbers can say whatever you want them to say, really. I mean, and the LLMs are going to give you whatever you decide you want back. But if you're really skilled about it and you put the right checks and balances in there and you're running 2 or 3 LLMs and then have another one filter through those 3 results, you're going to get better data, right? So, I mean, the AI is kind of going to do what automation has already done, right? We used to have one guy at one machine and we'd have the manager and everybody was running everything. And now we've got automated tending and one guy programming. And, I mean, one person can pretty much run a whole shop floor sometimes, I mean, so AI is only going to help things, but you still, when the network goes down, when the Wi-Fi pukes, when you lose this or that or the other thing, like you still have to have those backup redundancies and have that all captured in even just simple outlines, right? And have your data in the cloud, maybe another backup. I mean, it's amazing to me how many people don't even have like any backups or anything, even anywhere. Like, well, I guess we'll just rebuild it again from scratch.
And you created Shabam,
Shabam.
which is an AI-driven brand experience platform, right?
Yeah.
For those of you listeners who haven't heard of Shabam, shame on you, but Shabam, what's the wildest or most unexpected way you've seen AI help a manufacturing business win business, right? Or a company win business using Shabam?
Yeah. Unexpected ways for AI to help a company win business. Yeah. Man, every company is super unique. And so, yeah, I would say branches when an inroad comes in and kind of a if or else statements, right? And you create a branch based on certain criteria, then a whole nother flow happens. I've seen that help win more business than just static, like stages, right?
Yeah.
So because it's helping to qualify deeper. It's also educating, surprising, and delighting. Like you can give someone with a specific inquiry, a white paper, a case study link, or a PDF in a response that no salesperson, nobody's even touched. Like it came in through a DM on Instagram or TikTok or something, or I mean, even now YouTube, right? And we just added threads. So, I mean, it comes in through social or something, and then the question can vary, and then the logic can, go to the LLM model and look at the processes of the company and look at the products and services and solutions and whatever, and basically almost put together, a mock proposal in some ways, right?
I love it.
And it qualifies it, and it just shortens the time to education, surprise, and delight. It shortens the time to close, right? Speed to lead.
Yeah, I love it. So I talk a lot on this show about rebuilding the middle class and how manufacturing is that pathway to rebuilding the middle class and creating durable, dignified industrial jobs, right? That's part of my purpose here.
Yeah. Part of the reason I love you so much, my man.
Well, thank you, brother. Where is the intersection of sustainability with that purpose? Does sustainability and the middle class and rebuilding the middle class intersect? And what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, let's define sustainability real quick, right? Like what I'm talking about and what we're talking about is what back in the 80s they put together the World Economic Forum, or somebody put together this whole thing. It was like, let's define this, right? And it was like something to the effect of, let's not remove the decision-making power of future generations. Okay. Like that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Sustainability's got this woo-woo granola hippie kind of context to it, but what we're talking about is stewardship, right?
Got it.
Like, how do we steward the future for the people that are coming up behind us? How do we reach the ski pole back and fling them forward? How do we give them the ability to stand on the shoulders of the giants or the people that came ahead of them? That's what I'm talking about. So in that context, I mean, I think it's huge. The middle class, the manufacturing is the linchpin of America. The middle class is the one that carries the burden of all the stuff. I mean, the purpose of business is not to make money.
Right.
Wait, what? The purpose of business is not to make money. Okay. What is it? Well, it's to contribute to society, right? Build community, be philanthropic. Okay. That's the purpose of a business. You're going to solve problems. You're going to have a product service solution, audience eyeballs awareness, timing and price, and you're going to solve that problem for an economical price. And if they have it, they're going to buy it. And it's just a matter of time. Like when you need it, if you're the best, it's great, right? So, I mean, when the middle class, there's no dark switch.
Right.
I mean, there's not. It's light, darkness is the absence of light. There's no yin and yang here. This isn't good versus evil or anything. Like, and even on that, I can go down a whole tangent, but I won't. But I mean, cold is the absence of warmth, right? It comes with light. I mean, when you're manufacturing, you're bringing energy, right? It's going to start with that. I mean, the refrigerators don't run and this don't run when there's no power. Well, what are all the things that we got to build these power plants? I mean, I did hydro, coal, nuclear for years. I mean, I hope we bring back some more nuclear, but that's a whole other thing too. For the middle class, I mean, whole cities, whole counties exist because of a plant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so sustainability affects it in so many ways. I mean, let's treat people decent. Let's not scorch the earth. Let's think about what we're doing. Let's not taint the water. Let's not pollute the air. I mean, where does all the rubber go on, from tires? I mean,
Right.
Great. Electric cars are awesome, but they're heavier than sin. Well, now, okay, you're saving money on gas, but now you're spending how much on a set of tires every 10 months?
Right.
Where's all that rubber going? Gee, I live next to the busiest place in America here, and it's all in the air. Well, these guys all have asthma. Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, I think it affects all of us every day, even the ones they don't want it to affect. Like they don't, we don't see the repercussions of what we're doing. So it's like a little smarter is not going to hurt anybody. And also, I think it's good, better, best. I mean, you got to be reasonable. What's the good thing that we can do now? Move into the better thing later. And what's the best thing that we're going to move towards, right? Let's play the infinite game. Let's not be just quick win and, we're just going to create revenue for our investors and here's dividends, for these guys. And that's the end of the game. I mean, your business is going to be sold, dead, bought, something in 15 years or less.
So let me ask you a question, man, because we're seeing the effects of some of these data centers, right, that are powering AI. And it's not exactly building that brighter future for the next generation, right?
Yeah.
Like the methane fumes, the things that the water consumption, all of those things. How do we balance that need for AI and automation and the things that those data centers power versus that sustainability and future thinking mindset and leaving a good place for that next gen?
We're going to go into futurism land. I like it. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Olympics are coming to Los Angeles here, right? We just had all these crazy fires. I'm in San Diego. Your listeners or watchers aren't aware. I came from the Midwest, spent most of my career, 2.5 decades, in and around the Great Lakes. I mean, everything, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana, like all that, all the way to New York. But yeah, we've got the Olympics coming, right? I mean, we're going to host the world. Okay. And, where's all the internet's a house of cards to begin with, but like there's just so much wasted power and data. And I mean, we can go back to like efficient coding and other models. And how the even email is made, right? Like, I mean, those systems for all that stuff could be way more efficient in a lot of ways. But I mean, this is it's not even a ship. I mean, this is like a planet being steered by a rudder. I mean, this is literally virtual reality. I mean, cyber stuff. So, I mean, I think it's a combination of a little bit of everything. Really, I mean, we got to bring nuclear back in a really safe way. And I think AI is going to let us monitor and do everything. I mean, I spent years in the nuclear power industry. It was super good to me. I was in a bubble suit and a harness hanging from a polar crane, uncoupling missile shields and redoing nuclear reactor vessel hedge swaps, right? And then we were going to swap 18% of the fuel every 18 months or 25% of the fuel every 18 months, that sort of thing, right? So I've been there, done that. Like, I mean, I think it looks like container compute. I think that's a big piece of it. The container's it's modular. We can move it around and like on demand, think of it like your router bandwidth, right? So at home, you've got your Wi-Fi router and you've got X amount of bandwidth, right? And you're going to connect, whatever, 16 devices for your home. And, there's only 4 or 5 of you, but you got, all these devices are all connected, right? So, but they don't all need equal bandwidth, right? So when you've got, the high dollar ones do this switching and it's just enough bandwidth to keep it connected, but the bulk of the bandwidth is going to the 1 or 2 devices that are, streaming 4K video or whatever, right? Doing big, huge file transfers. So I think we do that with cities. And I mean, I'm a big fan of closer manufacturing. Now I'm spacing on the term for it, but basically you might maybe have 3 manufacturing facilities across the country instead of just 1, right? I think it looks like container computing where you can have from 1 sea container to 80 of them, and you can put it next to a hydro water source or a nuclear place or somewhere that's got wind and hydro and this stuff. And now you can kind of fuel it with multiple things, right? So I think that's a huge one for AI. I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of companies that are doing cool stuff with that. And,
awesome.
And efficiencies too. I mean, burying these things in the ground where it's, automatically, 45, 50 degrees. I mean, let's not put them out on the desert or top of Texas where it's just eating up the sun. I mean, that's great if you want to do that, but let's put a mirror array or some sort of, way to capture that sunlight and have that augment it too, right? So, I mean, yeah, I think there's a bunch of solutions there. I mean, there's way better people working on that stuff than me, but maybe I can be the Rosetta Stone for the bulk of people to like not be afraid of it because you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we're wrapping up here, man. What didn't I ask you that you want to share with the audience?
Man,
I love asking that question because neither you or I know what we're going to talk about in these conversations.
Right.
So
right.
It's like a crapshoot. You can't show up saying, I want to make sure we don't know what we're going to cover.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would say, I'd want people to be more aware in general and be nicer to themselves and nicer to each other. Like that sort of thing. Let's start with the mindset shifts, right? Like let's look into what is an abundance mentality. I mean, if you don't know, go check it out. Like just start looking at stewardship and personal responsibility. And that's how we're going to change this stuff is that each one of us understands that we're culpable for our own attitudes and actions and reactions to things. And like blaming someone else is like playing an armchair quarterback and you're not even on the field, but we're all here on planet Earth. And I'd say the other thing is, get into skill set and tool set. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about that's near and dear to my heart is flipping conversations from just money is the greatest thing ever. And we're going to make all of our decisions based on money when it's really time is the great equalizer. The man on the street to the man in the penthouse, we don't know how much of it we have. It can go away at any time and we're all spending it the same. So it's up to us, right? So I've got this framework, time, talent, tools, teams, temperance, trust, treasure, how we can manage and steward those because the money is just a scorecard and a percentage chip stack count that represents these value buckets, right? And really we need to look at, do we have the right team, the right talent in place? Do we have the right time to support this initiative, this endeavor? If you don't have those things and you think that you're going to shake the money tree and go hire someone else to solve all your problems for you, not going to happen. And that's part of the culpability, right? And so we need to take ownership of our own. I mean, man, it starts with just yourself. Like take ownership for my own responsibility and my own actions, right? And then invest in other people around you, your family, right? Your kids, your nieces and nephews, those close to you, build community, right? This is the purpose of business, right? Like we're back to that. Contribute to society, man. Get in the game.
I love it. I love it.
And I mean, that's what I want people to think about, dwell on that a little bit. And, who, what, where, when, why I give away for free. You want the how, you're going to book a meeting with me.
All right. On that, how do people get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, Mark at smfgx.com is one email. You can also email me at mark@vanderwarf.com. That's kind of the catch-all. And then Mark, M-A-R-K. I got to say M-A-R-K because out here in the West Coast, I get a lot of, with the C, right? I'm like, no. But Mark at Shabam, ashbam.com. And /booking on Vanderwarf, you can book a call. Links to all my stuff. You can see my why on there. You can see all the things I'm doing with music and makers. And I mean, I got my hands in so many fun things. Like I've got this little green turtle sandbox that I'm inviting all my friends to bring their Tonka trucks and Fisher Price toys. And we're building things. And when it works, we bring it to the world. So
That's awesome. I love it, man. Kid. You are. And that's why we're friends.
That's right.
I love you, brother. Thank you very much for being on today. Ladies and gentlemen, reach out to Mark. I hope you loved this episode as much as I loved recording it. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, anywhere that you go to social media except for X. I'm not on X. I tried it once and I hated it. I'm not on there. But any other social media platform I am on, especially YouTube. Go to YouTube, watch this video, come see the two of us side by side on screen looking like each other. And until next time, just take care of each other. Have a great day.
Absolutely.